So, I said to
Around
Sarara...
500,000 elephants roam the world today. That's down from an estimated 26 million in the year 1800. In other words, in the last 200 years, 95% of the elephant population has vanished.
As I was saying, I said to Sarara, that's my sister, my younger sister. Well, not by much, but she's younger. I'll grant her that. I said, Sarara, you are disappearing. Well, she went nuclear on me, but in a kind of imploding kind of way. She turned to me, her face crinkled like a 1,000-year-old tree, and she said, "Why do you have to be so dramatic, Nomi?" That's my name. But the way she said it sounded like she was chewing on a bunch of bitter lemons. Sisters. A sadness in her eyes, hidden by long, beautiful eyelashes, just like mine, genetic. Sometimes I think that she thinks sadness is sexy. It's so not. It's an odd thing, grief. No one does it the same way. I, for one, get busy. I cook, I clean. I mean, it's not a contest, but my house is cleaner than hers.
In their natural habitat, African elephants can live 60 to 70 years. In Kenya's Amboseli National Park, elephants live an average of 56 years. A female elephant born in a zoo is expected to live little more than 16 years. In other words, even when we claim to protect elephants by putting them in reserves or zoos, we're killing them softly with our song.
You hear that? It's my neighbor's ruckus. It's music to my ears. It's hippo. Cheetah. Bella. Or is that Sophie? Hundreds of birds. 22 kinds of eagles. Ibis. African parrot. Fairy flycatcher. Flamingos. Lilac-breasted rollers. My favorite. Out of our window, we have the most extraordinary view of Mount Kilimanjaro, all 19,000 feet of her. And I often wonder, what has she witnessed over the last 200 years as she looks across the plains? I live in a large family of 25 women, sisters, older daughters, young boys and girls, and all of our families are headed by women. You call it a matriarchy. We run the show. You should try it. It works really well. We are all thick-skinned, but we all have different personalities. Some of us are confident, some fearful, some are morose, that's Sarara, some are popular, that's me, I am very, always have been. Some are empathic, that's me too. Some are born left-handed, some are born leaders. We have a large queer community. We have therapists who help us when we grieve. We have doctors who help us when we're sick. We choose best friends. We are full of joy, love, and memories. Big memories, obviously. Someone once asked me, "What is your greatest achievement?" "My memory," I said. "And what's your greatest fault?" "My memory," I said. Forgiveness comes hard. I don't ever forget a thing. Our bond group, which is our friends and distant relatives, live a few trees away, but we spend most of our time with them. Oliver's my true love. He lives outside of the park, but I think he keeps a close watch on me. We met on Hinge. And then in person we met under the desert date tree, underneath the stars, in the rainy season, as the red African sun was setting and the night breathed a fresh rain. I smelled him, and he smelled me. We touched and explored each other's bodies with our trunks. My heart palpitated loudly the first time I saw him under the desert date tree. His gigantic tusks dangerously potent and erect in all their glory, handsome like the mountain. I instantly fell in love with him, with his touch and his fragrance. Oh, his fragrance. It was like nothing I'd ever smelled before, drowning in his smell, uncontrollably drawn to him. We found each other that first night and danced together to our special song. I danced the Etruss dance. To his sounds. You see, Oliver was in must. It's a funny word, must. It's funny in the mouth. Must is the Hindi for intoxicated. Testosterone levels in a musk elephant can be 60 times higher than normal. I'm not being dramatic. These are just the facts. Oliver was a bit erratic when he picked up my scent that day. I mean, guys can be erratic and moody and drippy, just like you guys. I must say I did have a few other flirtations that week cycle. I even slept with Forrest. He was very young, but alarmingly cute. But I chose Oliver because he has the best potential for my kids to develop into adulthood. And actually, I prefer older men. You smiling, you do too? Yeah. Their maturity offers the best potential for our kids to develop into adulthood. And Oliver had really good genes. And he was in must. Must is the Hindi for intoxicated. I know, I've told you already. I never forget a thing. And Oliver knew when I was ready to mate with him from the chemicals secreted in my urine and feces. And I also secrete chemicals from my temporal glands, which are situated between my eyes for chemical communication. You use perfume, I make my own. So when Oliver put his trunk over his tusks, I knew that he was being casual and signaling that he was not going to be aggressive. So I walked in front of him, and then I held out my tail. He then put his trunk on my back, and then he put his trunk under my tusks and mounted me. After our lovemaking, I stood in a post-sex stance. Call it an afterglow. I then turned towards him, my ears flapping rapidly, my temporal glands streaming, my mouth wide open, bellowing a series of powerful rumbles. I then turned towards him and away, repeatedly screaming and trumpeting, and in between calls I reached and touched his penis, and I touched his seed that was all over the ground, and I flicked it all over my body. My relatives now joined in, exuberantly calling, displaying their joy at my chosen mate, defecating, urinating. We call this mating pandemonium. They now also reach to touch and smell his penis. Pandemonium. Oh, what a marvelous party. What fun. Don't you just love it when the whole family approve?
Elephants only give birth every 4 years, producing 4 or 5 babies in a 60-70-year lifetime. Baby elephants can walk within an hour of their birth. The long pregnancy allows elephant brains to fully develop, giving calves the means to survive from day one. In other words, their kids are smarter than ours.
I was pregnant for 22 months. I know, you thought you had it tough. So when Adam was born, we celebrated and trumpeted the news of his birth for all to hear. Only happiness and joy. He popped out and he was 3 feet tall. Immediately upright, he reached for food. He was a ravenous little trunk-sucking thing, and he consumed about 3 gallons of milk a day. He loved puzzles and play fighting and any ball game, especially soccer. All the women helped me look after him. I was exhausted being a first-time mother. And a mom's got to eat, you know. We consume about 300 pounds of food a day. I eat for like 16 hours a day. Don't judge me. You would eat that much too if you could. But the first year of his life, he couldn't control his trunk. It was so sweet. And then 5 years later, after inducing my own labor by chewing on the bark of the red syringa tree, Asher was born, to much celebration. I breastfed them both for 5 years. I know, it's crazy, right? Yeah. I mean, I am completely biased, but honestly, they were the most wonderful little boys in the whole world. So curious and so funny and very smart. They both went to very good schools. Adam was more of a math guy and Ash was more of an arty type. In fact, when he was young, he sang in a band called the Radical Rumblers. He had the most beautiful rumble, just like his grandfather. They're going to be moving into their own places soon, which I've got very mixed feelings about. I mean, on the one hand, I know they're ready, and there's nothing I can do about it. But my heart aches at the thought.
Wild elephants sleep an average of 2 hours per day. That's the shortest sleep cycle of any mammal. REM sleep happens once every 3 or 4 days, so they rarely dream. In contrast, zoo elephants sleep 4 to 6 hours a day. I wonder why. In other words, elephants don't dream much, but boy, when they do.
I dream I'm the ancient grandmother of the elephants. I live on the hill behind the baobab tree. We're walking for 40 days and 40 nights. I wonder why 40. In dreams, you ask all sorts of questions. The elephant women follow me. We're looking for water. I can smell it exactly 12 miles away. The earth has dried up. We are thirsty, dry, parched, desperate. We can see into the future. We carry the secrets. I know what's coming. My father whispers something in my ear. What? What? What's he saying? I cannot hear. I wake up. I'm sorry I wake up. I lost my very wonderful and magical father a few months ago. My family and I are still deep in mourning. We loved him so much, and we cannot imagine life without him. He was very involved in our lives, in the boys' lives, taking them to soccer practice, walking, mud bathing, just talking. He adored his grandsons and their him. He taught us so much about the natural world, about Italian movies, dangers, food, love and respect. He was a big tusker. extremely gentle, and he loved life contagiously. He always took the high road, and I cannot look at a tree or a plant or a flower without thinking of him. He loved to travel. God knows, so do I. I wouldn't be here if I hadn't traveled far enough. He taught us all the bird operas, where to find the natural art, the magical rumblings, the hummings, the secret life of the praying mantis. He was kind and gentle, with a sea of stories and knowledge inside of him. Dad? Dad? Is that you? I was just thinking about you. Where are you? In Loikabat having a mud bath? Oh, it's so good to hear your rumble. How's your trunk? Are you still putting your ointment on it? I told you, Dad, turmeric, ginger. You know, Dad, I dream a lot about you these days. Do you remember when we were teenagers and we broke into your liquor cabinet and stole the marula berries and drank that thick, red, juicy liquid? But you found us the next morning. We were still drunk. You don't remember? Bye, Dad. Oh, sorry. Big hands. My father took us camping every year, soon after we were born. He put up a tent and made the fire, the smells of joy and abundance. Campfires, berries, lion lager, biltong, Mrs. Ball's chutney. One year, he took us to the singing wells of Namanyak. That's where the entire community get their water from the wells. And each non-elephant family has a song which the cows and goats and sheep recognize. So they take the blood, well, this is not part of my story, but they take the blood from the cows and mix it with the milk, and that is their food. So on this day, there were topies, cows, and hyena. And then a terrible thing happened. I was trying to reach for water, and I tumbled down deep into the well. I was absolutely terrified. A few weeks before, Longuru, who was in my class at school, had fallen in, and his family had tried to help him, and they couldn't. And then a hyena bit off his trunk. Eventually, he was rescued by Roteti, but he has had to spend the rest of his life without a trunk, sick in my stomach. Hours passed in the scorched heat. And my father tried relentlessly to get us out. And eventually, he put his trunk in a particular way and he pulled us out. And we ran towards the thorn trees for shade. And I remember running next to his large gray leg and feeling his love. And I also remember, for the first time in my life, being aware that there was a live bird living inside of me. I dream that I'm being attacked by 1 million wild baboons. I don't know why baboons. I'm not even scared of baboons. Some of my best friends are baboons. Edna. The taste and fear of death cling to my teeth, and I flap my ears madly. I run and I run, flapping my large ears, and when I turn around, I see my grandfather standing in front of me. His face is mutilated and tuskless. He turns to me and he says, "They have elephant blood on their hands. Elephant blood on their hands." I wake up in a cold sweat.
Each year, tusk poaching is responsible for the death of more than 20,000 elephants. Under poaching pressure, a new phenomenon has been recorded. A growing number of elephants are evolving to lose their tusks, to be born tuskless. In other words, to protect their species, elephants have started to lose their tusks in utero. Would you like me to repeat this? In utero.
My mother turns to me.
Can I share something with you? You promise you won't get upset, you promise. Last night, as I dozed off, I was snapped awake by a shadow of Dad, kissing and blowing against my cheek with his trunk. It was extraordinary. It was so vivid, so real. I can't stop thinking about it.
See, when I was a calf, my parents walked in unison. Literally, they walked everywhere together, to the same step, the same beat. They existed as one being. They walked the planets, the mountains, the peaks, together. They walked the paths of old culture, the trails, the shipwrecks, one step in front of the other. Walk and talk, walk and talk, walk and talk, walk and talk, talk and walk, walk and talk, talk and walk, walk and walk, talk and walk, walk and talk, talk and walk. And then he died, unexpectedly. And now she is half a creature, half a duet, half a comedy team. It's only been, a few months? I don't know, grief has its own time clock. But I wonder, will it ever grow back? I mean, my mother's soul. Does the soul ever grow back? Everything is a memory. Every snort of air, every change of light, every poem, every smell, every dream. I mourn him and I mourn her. She is only half. I try to find her, to bring her back, to try and make normal. But I can't. I try to comfort her, but I can't. I don't know if she will ever be back. I don't know where my mother is. She asked him everything and he answered. He asked her everything and she answered. Should we delete this email? Yes, we should. Should we get some water? Yes, we should. Should we go for a walk? Yes, we should. And they walk, and they walk, and they walk, in unison, as one creature, the parent. And as they walk, they talk about everything. Nothing is left unsaid. Seldom silence. Walk and talk. Walk and talk. Walk and talk. Walk and talk.
When elephants reunite, their sheer excitement causes their temporal glands to stream fluid down their faces, accompanied by exclamations called rumbles emanating from their larynx. The elephant larynx is the largest known among mammals. Elephants rumble in frequencies 3 octaves below the human voice. Greeting rumbles can blast at 11 and 17 decibels. That's as loud as a rock concert and travel up to 10 kilometers. In other words, Maria Callas' voice is kids' play.
It came first as a noise, a rumble in a key never before heard. Something was not right. You see, the poachers laced salt with cyanide and killed my father to get his tusks. He awakened like any other day, and he thought he could smell water, and he'd go and have a look and come back and tell us. He never came back because they murdered him for his tusks. He never came back. When we realized what possibly could have happened, we started screaming, but no sound came out. Just the slow blowing of air out of our trunks. Silence. In silence, we went to go look for him, and there he was, lying on the ground next to the watering hole. When we found him, I touched him with my trunk. I touched his teeth and his jaw. It was him. A shape of him. A shade. He looked like a broken toy. His beautiful face. His sad face. See, they'd cut so deep into his head to cut at the roots. It was obscene. We usually remove the tusks from our dead comrades and burn them, but his were gone. We investigated him and covered him with soil and vegetation. I plastered his head with mud, my temporal gland streaming. We tried to lift him up, and then we went completely wild, looking, calling, screaming for hours and hours, days and days. Depression descended upon me. Grief sat on me, in me, on me. I'd go back and touch his bones months later, the ones that hadn't been stolen from him. I dreamed that 1,000,000 conscious honeybees made their way into my right ear, decided to stay there and settle there and never to leave. I woke at that exact moment. The moon was balancing on a thorn tree as I submerged my large, soft body into the muddy water.
For centuries now, the ownership of object made of ivory has been interpreted as a sign of social status, a statement of wealth, or spiritual commodity. Thanks to international prohibition, this illegal trade has significantly dropped. The price of ivory is currently $92 per kilogram, from the $2,100 per kilogram it reached in 2014. That sounds like good news. It is not. In other words, There is no other words. One elephant still dies every 26 minutes from poaching.
My family and I love to talk to each other.
We rumble.
We rumble.
We have greeting rumbles. Contact, call, and answer rumbles. Let's go rumbles. Let's play. Let's fight. Let's pretend to fight. We have must rumbles, estrus rumbles, female rumbles, chorus rumbles, after sex rumbles, mating pandemonium rumbles. We have little greeting rumbles, calling calf rumbles, let's protest rumbles, let's cry, let's beg, let's grumble, separation rumbles, reconciliation rumbles, cooing rumbles, roaring rumbles, as touched rumbles, receiving comfort rumbles. We have a particular rumble when we find a rare and nourishing food. When we rumble, a replica of the airborne sound is transmitted through the earth, and these seismic waves are picked up miles away by the digital cushions on our feet.
This is what finding water sounds like. This is what non-elephants approaching sounds like. And this is what a murdered father sounds like. I dream my father's a telephone booth, and I walk inside his head. He's no longer a being. He is a red telephone booth. And as I sit in his head, his stories pour into the booth through the receiver. Dad, why do they kill? Are they sick? We do not know, Nomi. We do not know. They have a shallowness in their souls, a wateriness, like water infected with algae. Perhaps they think we are fruit or worms. A strange dead wind, their souls, a dead wind. How did they get to the planet? A reading from the Gospel of the kindness to animals. Let me be clear. My family are hunted and killed for our tusks, our ivory tusks. We also killed for our skin, for our meat, for elephant-non-elephant conflict, and for the simple amusement of bored trophy hunters. But mostly, we killed for our tusks. Do you realize that poaching is extremely damaging to the fabric of our society, as it targets our elder and more experienced members of our family? Do you realize that our tusks continue to grow throughout our lives, and our elders carry the heaviest and most desirable tusks? Do you realize that male tusks grow larger than female tusks? And our men are our primary breeders, and us women carry the secret knowledge necessary for finding food and water, and we are the backbone structure of our society, and we carry the memory of the migration route. So honestly, the consequences are devastating. I'm not being dramatic. I'm not being alarmist. I'm not being histrionic. I am simply stating a mere litany of facts, of statistics, of stats, of numbers, of polls. You hear it all the time. They say, these are the numbers, these are the polls, these polls are completely sober. Well, they're not. They're not sober. We get drunk on statistics. So honestly, I want you to just forget about the numbers of poaching and just know that the consequences are devastating. You see large groups of orphans wandering around in leaderless herds. Children under the age of 2 who lose a parent almost always die. And those under the age of 7 who lose a parent have a shorter life and almost always suffer from deep depression. For what? Kids, what have we done to you? For what? For what? For piano keys? For mahjong tiles? Sawing bones is music to my ears. Anyone for a little Schubert? I would love to tickle the ivories for you. How about some dominoes? Oh, what a gorgeous set. Each piece is carved by hand, cut by hand. Or some dice. It's pure ivory. Or how about some chess? We do it all. We can do it all for you. I am not being dramatic. These are the facts. Smoking pipes, walking cane handles, buttons, inlays for your coffee table, gun grips. Gun grips? Gun grips? You kill us with guns to make guns out of us? Just think of it. The procreation of guns. Boxes, stamps, seals, crucifixes, figurines, buttons, combs. Oh, lovely hairstyle, madame. Ornaments, necklaces, bracelets, earrings. May no one want your body parts. May no one want your hair. May no one want your kidneys. May no one want your skin. May no one want your eyes. May no one want your heart. It is yours, not mine. I have everything that I want deep inside of me. May no one want your body parts. May no one want your hair. May no one want your kidneys. May no one want your skin. May no one want your eyes. May no one want your heart. It is yours. It's not mine. I have everything that I want deep inside of me. I wish you could be happy with you. My father comes to me. He's standing on the other side of the water. I hold my ears out. I listen. The slow blowing of air out of my trunk. Silence. The subsonic call to him. I can smell him. That old dad smell. Is that eau de cologne or bay rum? Your father used to wear the same aftershave. Standing with my large feet in the mud, I look into those eyes. I know those eyes. They connect me to the beginning of time, those wise, kind eyes. Dad, is there anything I could have done differently? Could I have got you a different breakfast? A last journey to the end of the planet? A better doctor? Did you hear me when I gasped at your torn, tuskless face? Did you hear my gasp? I think you did. Did you know you were dying, Dad? Did you actually know before you slipped away? That thought is very unbearable to me. Do you know how much I love you? How much I miss you? Grief is the elephant. Enormous, mysterious, and impossible to grasp all at once. A day of heaviness. A flash of memory, a burst of anger. A slap of longing and a pit of numbness. Each part is real. Each moment is true, but none is the entire thing. We are blind to it, irreparably blind. You just have to decide which kind of blind person you want to be. An ostrich eggshell bursts in my head and shatters as I come out of this very short dream. Because I dream less, so much less since they brought me here. Reality and the unconscious are blurred, so blurred since they brought me here. But I wake up. I wake up in a cage, disguised as the African savannah. It's pleasant enough. My needs are met. They're about to come in with cameras round their necks. Smile, Baba. Smile, Dumbo. Don't think for a minute that I'm bitter. I'm not. I'm glad that they come. The little ones are sweet. They ask all sorts of wonderful questions. I'm glad that they come. Just as I'm glad that you came. I look up at a thorn tree. I see a bald eagle meditating on a branch. Both clearly painted by artists that have never set foot in Africa. Because we're not in Africa, Sarara. They call this the land of the free, go figure. We are the stars. We are the main attraction in the Bronx Zoo. We have new names. Patty and Happy. Sarara's Patty, and I'm happy. And so I rush to the savannah of the soul, where the thorn trees are sharp and the grass is perfumed. And in my mind, across the fence, I go, slowly into the Hudson River, to submerge my heart.